How you doing, everybody? Welcome back to Before I Forget. This is my video channel inspired by my Instagram channel, 1985 Road Dog. I also have a book out called Tales from the Gutter and Other Rock and Roll Shenanigans, detailing my exploits in the music world as a fan and somebody that worked in the music business. The book is available via Amazon and other outlets, so give it a search. Pick up a copy if you feel so inclined. This is not so much a Before I Forget. Well, it kind of is, but today's Mick Jagger's 80th birthday. And also, the recent passing of Tony Bennett at 96. These guys, have given ample opportunity for you to go see them live. If you're a fan of music, you've got to go backwards. I mean, there's no point in going forwards. There's nothing there. The current and the future is based upon the old. And the classic rock and the Tony Bennett's and the crooners and the jazz and that kind of stuff, those roots, the roots of that music were, the sacred juice of what makes it all rock, country, soul, pop, jazz. It's all that sacred juice that goes all the way back to the beginning. Trace it back to the, whether it's Celtic tradition in Europe or classical or whatever. The juice goes backwards, doesn't go forwards. So you've got to go backwards. So with the Stones, I mean, Mick Jagger at 80 years old. If you've never seen the Stones or if you don't know much about the Stones, they're the blueprint of modern rock and roll, really. Post Elvis, and Elvis was post Hank Williams, the Stones are really it, as far as the blueprint. And to this day, at 80 years old, Mick Jagger makes everyone else look slow. If you've not seen them, you need to go because they're not going to be here forever. I've learned that lesson. There's people I had a chance to go see that I never did, older musicians or jazz or blues or whatever it might be, stuff that I missed because I was young and into things like Motley Crue and Kiss and whatever. I missed opportunities to see stuff. And I only learned later on in life after appreciating that music and tracing it backwards. Wow, I'll never get to see these people. I'll never get to see certain there's certain things I've never seen Elvis. I would love to have seen Elvis, I would love to have seen, lots of things that I didn't see, but I didn't appreciate it till later on. And the opportunities were there for me to go see things and I just blew it off. So with the Stones, Mick Jagger's 80 years old. They set the tone, the blueprint. A good friend of mine works for the Rolling Stones, and I've been to, over 50 Stone shows in my life, and I've had the opportunity to be around the machine of the Stones, and they set the blueprint for everything, whether it's, merch sales, marketing, production, lighting, video, new ways to stream things. They're always leading the pack, and everyone else follows. And it's because they take pride in it. Mick Jagger, there wasn't a lot of money around in the heyday, in 1969, 1972, 68, 65, all those early great periods of the Stones, all the great music they made. They were pretty much broke. So it was not about making money. It was about being successful and doing it and keeping it going and taking pride in what you do. I don't think Mick Jagger's ever missed a show or been sick or he was not a big drugger or partier. Sure, he did party and did drugs and stuff, but minimal. So he was always a professional. You go see the Stones, that's the closest you'll get to perfection in rock and roll, to me. But a lot of people, well, it's so expensive and this and that, Listen, you don't have to go see certain bands that, you have to sacrifice certain things in order to get the main things, the big things. If you've never seen the Stones and you need to not go see, whoever and a few concerts you need to miss in order to go see the Stones, you need to do it. It's like Tony Bennett. The guy set trends. Him and Jagger set trends musically, stylistically, in fashion, everything. I mean, these guys were doing it for decades. I mean, 50 years. I mean, whatever's out there today, they'll never reach these pinnacles. It's a different world. So the appreciate the old stuff. If somebody's around that you're like, you know what, I'd like to go see these guys. I don't know much about them, or whoever it might be. There's a million older bands touring around. And artists, I've seen Sinatra. I never saw Dean Martin. I would love to have seen Dean Martin. There's a lot of stuff I didn't see, and I could have, but I decided to go see an extra Motley Crue show or something. You know what I'm saying? So, if you're into music, the two lessons I'm trying to impart here are: you got to go backwards, because everything is backwards. All the sacred juice of what makes it all special is backwards. Nothing's forwards. And go see bands and artists and acts that are not going to be around much longer. I mean, in 20 years, 25 years, everyone will be gone from the golden age. Who's still around? Neil Young, Bob Dylan, McCartney, Ringo, the Stones, Mick, Keith, and Ronnie Wood. Charlie's passed, of course. I saw Charlie Watts' last show in Miami. Didn't know it was his last show at the time, but I was there. It was, it's a special memory for me. The guys, and then you go back a little bit to the Van Halen years and the Kiss years and the Sabbath years. Ozzy's in bad health. He's not long for this earth, God forbid, but, he's not in good shape. AC/DC, whoever. Go see the older bands. You don't need to go see, whoever's new. I have no idea what's out there. But those people are young. Who cares? Go see the older guys. If you're into music and you care about the history of it all. I saw Jerry Lee Lewis. I mean, he was old, but I saw him and it was great. I mean, I was in the same room as the guy, so search out the older acts. The Stones have a new album coming out this fall. It's probably their last album. It's probably their last album of original music since 2008 or something. So it's a new Stones album. Charlie Watts' last performances are on that. There's reportedly a million guest stars on it. Stevie Wonder, Elton John, McCartney, Bill Wyman came back to play on it. Lady Gaga, I heard, is on it. So it's going to be a big Stones album as far as the hype of it. It's never going to be Sticky Fingers again, but the Stones, you go see the Stones and you'll be amazed with no kind of trickery, no tapes, no anything. What you see on stage is what you get, and they sound amazing. So you have to go see it. But new Stones album, and then I heard next year in the spring of 2024, they'll be doing a tour. Whatever it costs, you got to go. Give up something. I don't know. Stop buying coffee, Starbucks, whatever you need to do. Go see the Stones, because they're the blueprint of it all. And they're still going, and they still sound great. And the excitement of being in that stadium or that arena when they're about to come on is just insane. Every song is a hit. It's the crowd is there to party. I've seen the Stones a bunch, and that's, to this day, is probably the only thing that gets me excited as far as going to a show, going to see the Stones. When you're in that crowd and the Stones are 5 minutes from going on, there's no feeling like it. And Mick comes out, and he's 80 years old, and he makes everyone else look like child's play. Whoever. Any front man that's out there today from the 80s or the 70s or whoever, 90s, they're not Mick Jagger, man. That's all I can tell you. So happy birthday to Mick Jagger. He's 80 years old. Go see the Stones this spring when they go on tour. Appreciate the old music. Appreciate the old artists before they're gone, because they're going fast. That's it. Thank you so much for listening. I just wanted to get this out there because I was listening to Sticky Fingers. And I pulled out my Sticky Fingers record, and I saw that I remembered I had it autographed right here by Mick Taylor, who played guitar in the Stones for their golden years. Cool. So Mick Taylor signed that for me once. He signed a bunch of Stones albums for me. Like, I don't know. I don't even know why I was there. Oh, I was helping with an in-store signing. I was helping take care of them. And I brought my albums and he signed them. So that was great because I love Mick Taylor's Stones, period. Anyway, thanks so much for tuning in. Pick up my book, Tales from the Gutter and Other Rock and Roll Shenanigans, on Amazon. My Instagram that inspired all of this is 1985 Road Dog. Thank you for tuning in, and speak to you soon. Ciao.